And welcome to a star-studded edition of Studio 5. Tony Hale, Clifford, Bubba Watson, and Ahmad Rashad are all joining us today. So let's not waste a second and get to this week's countdown of the top 5 stories in the world of uplifting entertainment. We begin with number 5.
At number 5.
If you ever go to pieces, fall between the thunder clouds.
Believe it or not, you're listening to the newest gospel artist. He's digital, created using artificial intelligence. The digital artist is named JC, and his song is called Biblical Love. Relevant Magazine reports it is the first gospel song ever written by an algorithm.
You may be wondering who you'd be if I never met you and you never found me.
At number 4.
Venus and Serena gonna shake up this world.
With King Richard hitting theaters next week, Will Smith and tennis greats Venus and Serena Williams grace the cover of Entertainment Weekly.
There would be no Serena if there wasn't a Venus. Venus is so humble, she doesn't really take credit for that, but she burst open that door and I ran through.
Like, that's the size and the impossible scope. It's like Tiger Woods is number 1 and his brother is number 2.
From that countdown, we turn to our countdown to the big screen movie release for Clifford the Big Red Dog. COVID-19 and theater closures caused a few delays for this production, but it's now available in theaters nationwide. And actor and Regent University grad Tony Hale plays a bit of a villain in this film. He's with us in this week's Studio 5 Sit Down.
You may not believe it, but there is magic all around us. There are times it can be hard to find.
Did you bring your garbage to school?
But sometimes the magic finds us.
Look at you.
What's Tony Hale's, I'm assuming, childhood Clifford connection?
Yeah, I mean, Clifford was created 1963. I was born 1970. So, like, I feel like Clifford was always around.
I wish we were big and strong, and the world couldn't hurt us.
And so it's pretty surreal and great to be a part of this story.
Clifford?
Tell us about your role. You play a bit of a sinister character in this film.
I play the evil guy.
Action.
He wants to exploit Clifford. And I love playing the villain, or the quote villain. I'd say he's complicated and misunderstood. Yes. I love kind of showing that spiral and him spiraling out. That's really fun.
What's the bigger story you think this particular film tells?
I love that question.
Oh, he's so cute and so tiny.
I'm so red.
I love it.
There's a scene in the movie where Emily, the girl, is holding Clifford as a little dog. And Clifford, they're both in very unique situations where they feel kind of like an outcast.
Yeah.
And Emily loves the dog, and it's the love that makes the dog grow.
How big is he gonna get?
Well, that depends, doesn't it?
On what?
On how much you love him.
And I just feel like, man, in today's world, there's so much divisiveness. There's so much social media, like judgment and criticism. And the more that we can kind of celebrate the differences of others,
yes,
the more that we can have empathy, the more that we can listen, the more we can cross the aisle and begin to have discussions and celebrate things. I think that is where growth is going to happen.
Unbelievable.
Good boy.
Really taking that step to love and taking that step to accept, that is where change is going to happen. And obviously this is like children's programming, but it's a program that I think a lot of adults need to check into.
Absolutely, absolutely. Paint a picture for me of what it's like on the set as the CGI work is being done for you guys. What are you playing up against? What's happening? How does this work?
It's both unique and it's very exciting because the gift that we were given as actors is typically with CGI, there's like a tennis ball and it's like, okay, so there's a monster here and you got to kind of But what the gift that they gave to us was there were these large red puppets that these puppeteers would manipulate. And what that helped us with is it allowed us to see the scope of Clifford. So that in terms of our eye line, in terms of our reactions, we were really able to connect a little more with what Clifford, the presence of Clifford.
You know what? I can just listen to his heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something like this, you have no idea what's going to turn out. You have no idea. There's this scene at the end of the movie where he's chasing through traffic, and it's crazy. It's these special effects people, I am blown away by them. They're so incredibly gifted. And it's really eye candy. It's beautiful.
Was there a clincher or something that cinched it for you that made you say yes to this project?
I mean, having been a fan of Clifford for a long time and growing up with Clifford, obviously, that was really nostalgic for me. But after having been through kind of a crazy season and everybody has really struggled and it's been a tough time, moments like this where, you know, this movie is about big love. This is literally a big red loving dog, and it's also family entertainment.
That's the large teeth on the big red dog. Yeah, so why don't we get you on the scale here, bud?
It's tough to find things that the adults enjoy and the kids enjoy. So to be able to go to the theater and have that experience and the message, I think it's actually really good timing for it.
I'm getting Clifford out of here. You know how to drive? How hard can it be? I'm grounded for life, aren't I?
You and me both.
Now, in addition to seeing Tony Hale in Clifford the Big Red Dog right now, you'll also be able to see him in Being the Ricardos next month. Pro golfer Bubba Watson will join us in just a little bit, but as we prepare to take a break, we have a special sit-down to share this week. The star of Clifford the Big Red Dog is here with us. Let's check in now with Clifford.
Hi, Clifford. Don't be shy. We're just excited to talk to you today about your new movie. Can you come in just a little closer? Wow, you must be so excited for this movie, correct? Can you show us any cool tricks? Those are so good, Clifford. You deserve a treat. Do you have a favorite sport you like to play? I love to play soccer too. Maybe we can play together. Can you tell us when and where everyone can watch Clifford? Well, thank you so much, Clifford, for chatting with us today. We can't wait to see Clifford the Big Red Dog in theaters and on Paramount November 10th. At number 3.
Mariah Smallbone, wife to For King and Country's Joel Smallbone, released a new album and performs a single from it called Worth with her husband. She says her grandmother, who immigrated from Mexico as a young girl, was her inspiration for the song, and it's really about finding your identity in Christ, no matter how tough life can be.
'Cause you break through storm and you show me your love was always here.
At number 2.
Joseph, we can't keep looking. He's coming.
Eddie, are you seeing this?
The Chosen shatters records again with its Christmas film hitting the big screen.
The world's #1 crowd-funded series, and it's celebrating yet another first, a Christmas movie on the birth of Jesus. Tickets are on sale now for Christmas with The Chosen, The Messengers.
My soul magnifies the Lord.
And my spirit rejoices in God, my Savior.
Remember what your messenger said. The first thing.
I feel like The Chosen began with Christmas. So are you obligated to honor Christmas every year?
I think that is a part of it. A few people have asked me, why are you doing a Christmas special? And I said, because that's what birthed The Chosen.
Don't be afraid.
Jesus Christ is.
People must know.
With that story, we have one more story to share in this week's countdown. It's coming up in just a little bit. Pro golfer Bubba Watson's life has taught him that stardom often comes with hardship, and he's opening up about that and his mental health struggles in this week's Studio 5, Faith on the Field.
I started tournament golf at age 8, started hitting it past everybody. People started talking to my family about how far I hit it, and you know, no lessons. And as it grew, when I got to around 12 years old, you could definitely see my skill level was different than other people. That's when it, it started to buzz in my head that, wait, I have a shot at this. I can be pretty good at this.
Part of that golf journey included accepting a scholarship at the University of Georgia, where he met his wife, Angie, who had an immediate impact on his spiritual journey.
We started talking about church. She grew up in the church and who she wanted to be, and she asked me about my faith, and I told her it's very little. One day I got asked to go to church and gave myself to the Lord, but then that was it. It's kind of, the seed was planted. I said the right things, but I didn't really water it. And when I got to Georgia and met her, that's when it opened up. And I'm still growing that, but it's been an amazing journey. And the rest is history.
That history includes highs like a successful golf career, including 2 Masters championships, but also tragic lows resulting in severe anxiety and dramatic weight loss.
So I look at the scale and I'm 162. I just fall on my knees. I mean, I'm bawling and said, take me. I said, I don't want to go through this. Praying about just take me. What am I supposed to do? What do you want me to do in my life? I was like, I'll quit golf. If this is what's going to cause me to be this way, I'm done with golf. I'd rather be physically healthy than out. There's one particular moment that I can remember where I said some choice words, got caught on camera, and my team hit me fast. I went into the media center and they asked me right away. They said, your language, you call yourself a Christian. And I said, man, I want to thank y'all. And I said, I want to thank y'all because that's how I get better. If you don't call me out, I can't get better. We're all going to have moments. Younger days, I wouldn't have done it that way. But since 10, when I won, going forward, and more wins after that, it just means I'm putting on a bigger pedestal, a bigger spotlight, where I have to be ready to face my bad moments in a different way.
Watson credits the people he surrounds himself with, including his wife, for breaking him out of his low points and strengthening his relationship with God.
I praise my wife all the time. Without meeting her, it wouldn't have jump-started me to get back to where I should be. And then the close team around me, my close friends, the different pastors that I've been able to meet, they've been able to put wisdom into me. Now, it takes me a slow time to learn that wisdom, but it's growing. I hate to say this, but on my deathbed, I don't want my kids to go on the podium and be like, he was 2-time Masters champion. If they say that, I've already missed. I missed everything I was supposed to do. Well, I've been blessed so much that why not bless other people?
For more on this story, check out Bubba Watson's new book, Golf Was Killing Me. It's available right now wherever you purchase or download your books. Right now, it is a great time to share a story in pictures. Take a look at this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
You're so deep in my heart, you're really a part of me.
We're sampling the jazz stylings of Lady Gaga and sharing her book and campaign to shine a light on mental health and the power of kindness. This week, she also drops a digital special entitled The Power of Kindness, airing Friday. And it arrives just in time for World Kindness Day. That's Saturday. With that, be kind and enjoy this week's Studio 5 Snapshot.
Still ahead, if you're a fan of fun, our new game show is the real deal.
It's an all-new game show with a very familiar face guiding the competition.
Hello. I'm Ahmad Rashad, and welcome to Tug of Words.
Ahmad Rashad joins us in Studio 5 with a look at Tug of Words.
So I'm not going to ask smart. I didn't know what it was. Archivist.
Don't worry. Yeah, we preserve people's stories and help others connect to them.
If you're a fan of fun, our new game show is the real deal.
Wow!
It's Tug of Words.
All you need to do is change one letter in the existing word.
Cup. The fast-paced, team-based word game where every letter's in play.
Hack.
Until winning is only a word away.
They make Swagger deodorant.
Old Spice.
You guys did it!
Tug Tug of Words, hosted by Ahmad Rashad. Premieres this November, only on Game Show Network.
And that's just a quick look at the new game show, Tug of Words. And joining us right now with more is the show's host, Ahmad Rashad. So good to see you. So, describe for people what they can expect on this game show.
You can expect a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, some weird answers, and just an all-around good time. It's a great game. It looks like it's easy at the beginning, but it gets harder at each stage of the game. But it's just so much fun. Now, this is the way I describe the word. That we give you a word, and you have to change one letter in the word to answer the question. So that's sort of the concept of it. But I think one of the cool things about it is if you have a partner, there are two people playing against another two people. So it makes it much more fun and exciting because you have a certain amount of time to answer the question. And if your partner knows it right away, all they can do is get upset that you don't know it. So it's one of those kind of things. It's one of those things that just become more and more fun. But you can feel it when somebody says something really crazy and their partner's like, how in the world did you say that?
I love it. How do you think you would do in the contestant chair as opposed to the host chair?
Man, I'd be a disaster. I'd be saying so much crazy stuff, because there's a lot going on. You're shocked sometimes. We had a lady on. She must have been about 70, and it was some pop culture questions, about a rapper and who's this rapper and who's that rapper, and she was right on top of every single one of them.
What was it about the show that made you sign on? I know you're busy in the sports world. What was it about this show that made you say, I'm going to do this? It was the chance to have a lot of fun, to entertain and have fun and really laugh, and because I think that's really an important part of life, is to be able to smile and laugh at a lot of different things. So it was one of those things where you could bring a smile on somebody's face. We had a great time. Even if you lost, you had a great time being on the show because we had a lot of give and take and back and forth and a lot of really good real entertainment, where people really themselves and it just I look forward to every show. I couldn't wait to get out there because it was always something that was going to be up and fun and interesting. And I think people are going to love that part of it. Absolutely. How important, you mentioned this, but how important is something like this during a time like this where we're still in our world, enduring struggle, trying to come out of difficulty? How important is it that we do take a break and enjoy things like this?
It is one of the most important things ever at any time, is to be able to step away and have a good laugh, have a good smile, have a good feeling that permeates your entire body rather than getting stuck with, oh God, the woes of life for this particular day or period or whatever it is. I don't think you can do that for too long and have that be healthy. I think at some point you got to wash away from that a little bit and be able to laugh, have a good belly laugh. And hopefully we can bring that to you with the show that we're doing today. At least give you a half hour of some really good, fun stuff, because I think fun will cure all ills.
I agree with you 100%. Ahmad, thank you. And a reminder, you can catch Tug of Words right now on the Game Show Network. Be sure to check your local listings for times. With that, we've made it to the final story in this week's countdown of the best in uplifting entertainment. Here's number one.
At number one.
Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Faith Jenkins presiding.
She's the judge on TV's divorce court.
Spend a lot of time, no, I can't deny it's pressure.
He's R&B's Prince of the Love Song, tying the knot to become one of Hollywood's latest power couples. With Faith now sharing some of her faith and her journey in a new book out today, Sis, Don't Settle. You have new music. Here to Stay is the project. And you've got a new book, Sis, Don't Settle, How to Stay Smart in Matters of the Heart. Are there two separate conversations going on in these, or is this the same conversation?
I think they're complementary conversations, but they kind of begin with this, don't settle first. Because if you don't settle, you can experience these love songs that I'm singing about and that I've sung about for many years.
Yeah, in a very special way. In a very special way. We often joke because Kenny has been singing love songs for the past 25 years. I host a show called Divorce Court.
I know.
So he brings people together and I tear them right apart.
So I have to ask, because the subtitle, How to Stay Smart in Matters of the Heart.
Mm-hmm.
So did Faith have a period of being dumb in matters of the heart?
She sure did. And you're going to read all about it in the book.
I know.
I told the stories. I told the stories. And that's what it's really about. I was out in the dating streets for 15 years before I met my husband, and learned a lot of things the hard way.
Welcome back to Studio 5. This week's soundtrack comes from Jon Batiste and Tori Kelly. Take a listen and hear why Sing is what's playing in my ear this week.
When I'm cold and tired and so don't you know I'll sing, yeah. Let it out and sing.
Sing, you can hear that and more on Jon Batiste's release of the deluxe edition of his We Are album. It's available right now. Before we say goodbye this week, though, we wanted to take a look ahead and see what's coming up next week here on Studio 5.
Hi everybody, we're talking from the set of our new film Belfast. And action!
Writer and director Kenneth Branagh shares a poignant story of love, laughter, and loss.
It's a spirit and a vitality and a humor which I think is very life-affirming.
My ma says if we went across the water, they wouldn't understand the way we talk.
He and his award-winning cast take Studio 5 behind the scenes.
It's a very, very personal remembrance of that time when Ken was a small boy.
I think my dad wants us to leave Belfast.
It's a joyful script in many respects, considering, the very troubling aspects of what's happening. But it's also funny, and I think there's loads of humor in it.
Do you think me and that wee girl have a future?
That's next week right here on Studio 5. Before we bid you a fond farewell this week, we've got one final question and one final answer from Mr. Tony Hale. Here's this week's final word.
Talking about being the outsider or awkward or different, has that ever been your experience personally?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I always kind of felt different, and I dealt with anxiety a lot. I dealt with a lot of anxiety. But the cool thing is having gone through that, it's interesting, having dealt with that stuff, it does change you as an adult. And I do play anxious characters. A lot of my characters are kind of anxious. And so because of what I went through, I can kind of maybe show that in a different light because I experienced it. So it's neat to see how stuff you went through can be used, for storytelling and for good, hopefully.
Did your faith help you navigate that as well?
It did. I mean, my faith is very important to me, and it's everything to me. And so I think in life, I think people can kind of look at faith as a crutch, and life is hard. Give me two crutches. It's tough. It's tough to walk. It's tough to walk through this life. I don't want to do it alone. And so I'm very thankful that he was with me through all that.
Thanks, Tony Hale. That's a great final word for this edition of Studio 5 and this week's look at uplifting entertainment. Until next time, make time to uplift someone around you, and then come on back and see where Studio 5 takes you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.